So today we took the show on the road. I'm Dave Jones with Dave Jones Realty. We are not in the studio, but we are still in the great town of Prospect. I want to show you exactly how far your money goes and have you try to guess the price for this property. One of the big pushbacks we always hear about Connecticut is about the taxes. And stay till the end when I reveal what the taxes are on a property like this. I think you're going to be surprised. Let's go check it out. So here we have a 3,500 square foot, 4-bedroom colonial. I'm going to show you, this house is built in the late 80s, early 90s. So we're not going to see the open floor plan that a lot of buyers are looking for. This is going to be more of a traditional floor plan. The nice thing about a traditional floor plan, every room gives you some separation, like this giant dining room. You have so much room for your huge family table for all your holidays. Follow me through over here. You'll see it does open up a little bit here. In this living room area, we have a pellet stove, which if you don't know much about Connecticut, you might not know. Our winters are horrible. You want a pellet stove. So primarily for heating in Connecticut, people use oil, propane, or city gas. All of them are pretty expensive. Connecticut is always one of the highest utility costs in all of the country. So when you're able to supplement with something like pellets, it's great. So you get the 40-pound bags, keep them in your garage, you carry them over. Our pellet stove burns about 1.5 bags a day, so 40 to 60 pounds a day. But we keep the oil heat off during the winter, especially when you have it in a room like this and it shoots right down. It heats this whole level. The heat will naturally go upstairs. So pellet stoves are very important when you're buying in Connecticut. One thing I like too, you can see all the attention to detail here, all the trim work behind the fireplace. This room and the dining room have pre-finished hardwood floors. So you'll see floors like this, they almost look too perfect to be hardwood, but you could tell they're real wood. That's not laminate. So laminate is manufactured. It's like a vinyl. This is actually hardwood, but it's pre-finished in a factory. So it comes in and it's installed, stained, and sealed already. A lot of pre-finished hardwoods could be sanded down. These floors are in great shape, but if you didn't love the color, if it had some scratches, you can actually sand them, restain them, keep them natural, and reseal them. So that's important to know. You'll also see a lot of tile in Connecticut, tile in the bathrooms, tile in the kitchens. That's what this one has. It has a large eating kitchen, a lot of extra cabinet space. Again, when you get into a house that's about 3,500 square feet, everything's gonna be a little bit bigger. This is a house for a move-up buyer, meaning this isn't a first-time home buyer house here in Connecticut. This is gonna be a house that somebody had a 2-bedroom condo, 2-bedroom house, maybe a small 3-bedroom house, and they outgrew it. So then they come to the next size up. So usually with a buy-up buyer buying a house like this, they have a property to sell. So typically you'll sell that property and move into this one. And that's exactly what's happening here. This property is under contract and it is going to a move-up buyer, somebody that's moving into it from a smaller property. You'll see here the open kitchen. And it has a built-in wine fridge. It has nice granite counters, the newer cabinets with the black hardware, has newer appliances, bottom freezer. It has the great downdraft stove that has the fan built into the back, double ovens, stainless appliances, obviously, undermount sink, and it looks out right over the backyard. So when everybody's out back playing, you could stand at the sink and see what's going on. Another feature I love here are the new style French doors that have the blinds built into them. Makes it super easy. I don't know if you've lived in a house that had the old-fashioned ones. Every time you close the door, they swing, they hit, they get thrown out of whack. When they're built in like this, it's perfect. So that's a nice feature that we have here as well. A lot of times in this price point, you will see houses that have pantries. This does have a pantry closet. Gives you a lot of space so you can actually fit some of your mixers and stuff down below, some of your bigger boxes when you're buying in bulk from Costco. The garage is also right off of this area, which is super handy. When you come home from a big box store, you can unload everything to the garage, bring it right here. But some houses in this price point, you will actually have a walk-in pantry. This house does not have that, but does have plenty of cabinet space. So keep that in mind. If a walk-in pantry is a deal breaker, make sure your agent knows that. Sometimes people are willing to give on items like that are on their checklist because there's other spaces and other areas that can be used and you can compromise a little bit. Usually we see more people that are willing to walk away from a property because the bedroom count is wrong, the age of the roof is wrong, the kitchen's not up to date. But smaller things like having that home office or having that walk-in pantry are usually things that people are willing to give and take a little bit on. So as we walk through, start putting all the pricing together in your head, because at the end, I want to reveal what the taxes are and what the list price is. And I want to see how close you got and what you think of the value. Because remember, it's not just about the price. It's the price plus the tax of what it actually costs to live here. Right when you come in the front door, we have a giant coat closet, another thing that is often overlooked but very important, especially when you have all your guests over. You want to make sure you have a spot for that. Directly behind me here, we do have another formal living room. This is a space that would make a great home office. One thing we've noticed since COVID, people are working more and more remotely, and it's great to have this kind of area that you can set up your desk and work from home. You could put your doors back up to get a little more privacy if you need it, but it's nice having that area that's not necessarily in the basement or in a walk-up attic. It is on the main level, part of the house, and you can escape to it and get your work done. This is the area right off the garage. You can see behind me, we'll take a look down there in a minute, but we have a 2-car garage down here. This is a great little mudroom area. So you can set up your bench here, have room when you come in from the garage, take your shoes off, hang up your coat, use the bathroom, which is a great feature to have. Bathroom right here on the main level. And we also have another little area that when we're entertaining, everybody's gonna wanna congregate up there. So let's check that out next. So now this bonus room over the garage is where we get a lot of our square footage. Again, a great second living room. This could be another primary suite if you wanted another main area bedroom, which this house doesn't have. You can also use this as a giant home office, a workout room. It does have a separate air conditioner in here. So in Connecticut, central air is really a must. Once you have it, you will never want to live in a property that does not have it. So 2 different kinds of central air. The main house has traditional central air. That's when you have the big compressor outside, all the ductwork is hidden, you'll see some vents in the floor, and typically that's used for hot air heat and central air. When there's other pieces that were added on after, or they might be a little harder to get ductwork into, they started using these things called Mr. Slims, Fujitsu units, mini splits. That's what's directly on the wall in front of me here. So this room has a built-in central air conditioner, and it is sort of like the replacement for the old-fashioned wall units you used to see. So not the in the window, but when they used to build the big giant units into the wall, this replaced it. It runs far more efficient. A lot of them actually do heat as well, and it can cool a whole area, even as big as this, quickly. So great to know, or great to know about. So even if you're looking at a house and you're saying central air is a must, keep in mind, it can almost always be added. So don't walk away from the perfect house just because it doesn't have it. You can add it after the fact. And again, we have great resources for that. We have great recommendations. So if you need somebody to do something like that, just reach out. Up here, you'll notice the floors are a little different. A lot of times when you look and you can see the wood is different like this, that is a laminate. It's often called LTV, luxury touch vinyl. It is a vinyl plank. It has pieces of real wood in it, but it's mainly made up of plastic. A lot of times, depending on the company, it's waterproof. It's life-proof, meaning if you have dogs, kids, they're not going to scratch it as easily as real wood. So that's what we have here. So also good to know. Another thing we want to look at when we're looking at properties, the age of the windows. So a lot of times houses from the 80s and 90s had wood windows. At some point they should have been replaced. If they haven't, you're going to want to know that so you can budget for it. So we're going to be looking to see if they are vinyl windows. Again, plastic. Vinyl windows will last forever. Wood windows will eventually need to be replaced. So important to keep in mind. The other thing, Connecticut has a lot of old houses, like charming 200-year-old properties. And they're the type, when you look out, everything's distorted. It's almost like a funhouse mirror. That is lead. We actually still have lead windows in Connecticut. They're single pane. They add a lot of charm to the house, but they also let a lot of heat out of the house. So that's one thing you want to be alert to, is if you're looking at antique homes, vintage homes, you're going to see a lot of lead windows and a lot of the heat is going to be escaping as part of the charm you're buying. So keep that in mind. One underrated feature in Connecticut is garage space. And trust me when I tell you, the winters are rough. I talk about this a lot, but I talk about it a lot for a reason. They really are rough. So not only do you want a space to pull your car in, get it out of the cold, out of the snow, but you want a spot for your snowblower. So you can start here and work your way down the driveway. Little things like that, you don't know until you actually own a house and you're like, oh my God, why did we buy a house without a garage? So here we have 2-car garage, automatic garage door openers. Another thing that's great, pull in, hit the button. You don't have to get out to open them. Oversized. A couple things you'll notice here in the garage too. This big box on the wall behind me. What the hell is that, Dave? That is a transfer switch. This house has a generator hookup. Another important thing, depending on the town you buy in Connecticut, Prospect's a town that loses power a lot. You'll see some subdivisions have underground utilities. Some are more old-fashioned and they still have telephone poles. Areas that have telephone poles, there's one thing that's very consistent. Storms. The storms knock down the telephone poles. You'll be without power for a day or two. So generators are a big thing in certain towns. Prospect's one of them. Another thing you'll find in Connecticut a lot are basements. So we also sell real estate in Florida, and basements aren't something you see in Florida. Everything's built on slab. Here in Connecticut, we utilize this space. So most houses have basements. Some will be built on slab, but usually the larger colonials will have an actual basement, especially houses in this era, 80s, 90s, and on, they'll have a basement. Whether or not it's finished, that's up to the homeowner. So this one does have a finished basement. You can see they made this great music room here. Could be another workout area, could be another home office, could make it a bedroom. There are different rules and regulations that are usually governed by the health department. So you would think if it has a window and it has a closet, it's a bedroom. That's not what dictates bedrooms in towns that have septics. It's dictated by the size of the septic tank. So typically if it's a 1,200 gallon tank, it's a 4-bedroom. You would actually need a bigger tank in order to make another bedroom. So just keep that in mind. How you use it is up to you, but if you want to classify it for resale, you would have to do it correctly with the town, get permits. So awesome use of space down here, nice high ceilings. Directly in front of me, we have a laundry room. So again, down here we have ceramic tile in this room. You can see the room behind me, they were using as a workout room. Could put your mats back down. They had some workout mats here. Again, nice ceilings, nice lights. You actually have some good mirrors on the wall, and you have casement windows, windows that are small, that give you a little bit of light, but another great area, a playroom, a workout room, a music room. To my right, we're gonna go see the utility area, and there's a lot to see in there, and I'm gonna run through you what a couple things are from a 10,000 foot view. I'm not gonna get into too much detail, but it's important stuff to know, so let's go check that out next. Here in the basement, there's so much stuff to see. This is where I typically like to start, because if we don't get past what we see down here, it doesn't matter what everything else is. This is where all the money is in a house. You have your well, you have your oil tank, you have your boiler, you have your furnace, you have your hot water heater. There are a lot of mechanical things down here, and they're all worth knowing what they are. The other thing I like to do is when you're walking through, if you see wood racks, one thing to know about wood in a basement, It's a sponge. So look at the legs and see if you see any signs of water staining. Great thing to look at. This is another thing we try to train all our agents to be on the lookout for. If you don't want to have to remember all this, do yourself a favor. Just call one of my great agents at Dave Jones Realty. You can actually book a Zoom link down below. Tell us exactly what you're looking for. We will pair you with the perfect agent. I have over 150 agents here in Connecticut, 5 offices. We are here to serve. We love what we do, and we would love to make you one of our clients for life. Let's go over some of this stuff so you're not confused when you're walking through a house. So you have this giant tank right behind me. What the heck is that? That is your water heater. You'll have one of 2 kinds. You will have an electric water heater, or you'll have a domestic off the boiler. So this is a water heater. Heats all the water. You want to make sure it's a good size. It's sized for how many people are going to live in the house. This is a big one. You also want to look at how old they are. Typically last 10 to 15 years. So you want to know the age so you know what you're in for. Directly to the right of that is the boiler. The other thing you're going to notice is there's some big fittings. This one actually has a lot of money put into it. When I walk into a house and I see this, I know the owner spent a lot on it and it's built right. So that's one thing that you want to be able to look at and say, wow, look at all these fittings, all the different zones. It's copper piping, it's done right, and there's money invested here. Now, directly behind me, you will see the oil tank. Now, don't be afraid of oil heat. I hear this so much. People are like, I don't want oil heat. That's silly. Oil heat isn't the worst thing. You need to budget for it. You have to be alert to it. You can also supplement it. So we saw upstairs there's a pellet stove, great supplemental heat source. You can also put a pellet stove down here if you wanted to. You can put a pellet stove upstairs if you wanted to. All that supplemental heat will help with the heating bill, but buy oil during the summer when it's a lot less expensive. You can add a second tank. So see, this is one tank, looks to be about a 330-gallon tank. Add a second tank. During the summer, buy 660 gallons of oil. It'll probably take you through the majority of the winter. Maybe not in a house this size. You'll probably have to fill up a couple times. But when you supplement with the pellets, you're not gonna hurt as much every time Scott Phillips from Phillips Oil, local guy here in Prospect, comes to deliver. So keep that in mind. It's not the end of the world that it's oiled heat. Another thing to be alert to down here in the basement is this white pipe. Dave, what the heck is that white pipe, you might ask? I'm glad you asked. This is a radon remediation system. Radon is a naturally occurring gas. Every house has it. It's just how much of it you have. It's even outside when you're walking around. It's in the air naturally. If a property has a lot of ledge, a lot of rock, number tends to be higher. Prospect is built on rock, so a lot of houses have it. So when you have this pipe, it's drawing fresh air from underneath the slab and bringing all the way up above the roof line and evacuating it out. And that's it. It's just circulating the air. So this will be steadily drawing air through and sucking it up and bringing it out. And when you have a radon remediation system, as long as it's working, you don't have radon. So it's a good thing to know. Don't be scared by this, but educate yourself on it so you know what you're dealing with. Next thing you're going to notice down here, this is more well equipment. So you have a well holding tank. So in Connecticut, we have wells. The wells are in the ground. You suck up the water. It comes and goes into this tank. The tank holds it until you need it. If you turn sinks on upstairs, showers on upstairs, you will hear this start to run. It'll kick on, it'll release the water, it'll suck up more water and fill it up again. You have these three things to the right. These are also well related. So a lot of times in Connecticut, especially in towns like Prospect, you're gonna have hard water and you'll need a water softener. All a water softener is adding salt to the water and making it a little easier on the pipes. So that's what we have over here, more well equipment. So just important to know, you still have a ton of space in this house. Even with all this mechanical stuff here, there's still room for storage. You still have all the finished space. You still have the laundry area. You have a lot of room, even when the mechanics are tucked into the unfinished portion of the basement. Another great thing when you get into this price point is typically you will have primary closets and primary bathrooms. So that's one thing when you get to a buy up home. Again, we talked about that. When you're going from that starter home, the starter homes don't tend to have walk-in closets or their own bathroom. So in this price point, we would expect it. We would expect a generous size primary bedroom, just like this, fit the king size bed, fit a little work area, and check out the closet. The closet's awesome. It has built-ins already, great light. This has an updated bath already. Keep in mind, if you're looking at a house that has a dated primary bath, you're gonna be anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000 for a bathroom update for a full bath. And that's a mid-range upgrade. Tile shower, tile floors, but not super high end. That number could double easily if you're a little more high end and want higher end finishes. This has it done already. So another great value here. Let's look at that. Right here outside the primary, we have the little top of the stairs landing. We have another full bath here. You'll notice the same floors here on the landing as we had in the primary, that pre-finished hardwood. The other 3 bedrooms are gonna have carpet. That's something also you'll see a lot in Connecticut is carpet in the bedrooms. Again, keep in mind, our winters are harsh. So it's nice having warm underfoot when you get up in the morning, and that's provided by the carpet. Keep that in mind, usually a house in this age bracket too, that has carpet does not have hardwood floors underneath the carpet. Anything built in the 80s on up, if there's carpet down, it's probably plywood. If it was built in the 70s all the way down, typically under the carpet would be hardwood. Good way to find out is you peek in the closets, see if they carpeted the closet. If not, you could usually tell if it's hardwood or plywood. So keep that in mind. This is a very generous sized bathroom, does have 2 sinks, new vanity, new mirrors. So it does have some updates. The bedrooms, very generous closet space. You'll see here too. Nice linen closet right here in the hallway. We do have central air in the house, upstairs here as well. But you'll notice above me, there's a weird contraption. A lot of people ask what that is. There's a switch right here on the wall. That is a whole house fan. So one thing about Connecticut is we don't have humidity all the time. The spring and the fall, it's very, very soothing outside. So what do? You open the downstairs windows, you turn on your whole house fan, and it sucks the air through the house, that crisp, cool air, and it cools everything down. So it's great to have a whole house fan. This house does have it, but let's look at the extra bathroom up here next. This is the smallest of the 4 bedrooms, but there's a couple things in here that I still love. And you won't see this in every house in this price point. So those things I want to make sure I point out to you. Ceiling fan. Super nice to have a ceiling fan. The nights that are a little warm, but not hot enough to put on the central air, throw on the ceiling fan. This has it already. Little things like that you want to kind of look for because you don't notice it until you move in and see it's not there. This also has chair rail. 2 of the bedrooms up here have chair rail. Very nice when you're putting your beds up against the wall. You're not gonna scuff and mark the walls, or if you have a desk up against the wall. So this is nice. Also gives a little character to it. You could do different color paint like they've done. Another thing worth noting, the raised 6-panel doors. A lot of houses from this era and in this price point are gonna have hollow core doors, meaning doors that are flat. Again, it gives a nice finished look. One thing you could do to instantly upgrade the look, change the nickel to a black hardware. We saw that in the kitchen downstairs where they did black handles. I think I would do that upstairs for all the hinges and all the door handles. Okay, down at this side of the house, we have 2 more bedrooms. This is the 3rd bedroom, so probably the 2nd smallest one. We're gonna look at that one in a sec. Still great light, great closet space. One thing I wanna note before I let you look in here though, is what is directly in front of me and above me. Pull down attic stairs. One thing you're gonna see, especially when you start looking at houses in the 2,500 to 3,000 square foot range, you're gonna need storage. You're gonna wanna make sure it has a finished basement. You're gonna wanna make sure it has a shed. You're gonna wanna make sure it has an attic, and this one does. pull down stairs so you don't have to get a ladder out and go through a little hatch. Very handy when you're sticking all your holiday decorations up and out of the way. So good to know. Look for stuff like that. Check out the bedroom. So now this is the other bedroom, and this is probably almost the same size as the primary, if not bigger. Just doesn't have the primary bath and doesn't have the walk-in closet. But for a lot of people that don't need 4 bedrooms, this is an awesome upstairs living room. You retire upstairs at the end of the night and you can hang out in here and make this your second living room, in this house your third living room, and make it a little escape room. It could be a playroom for the kids. It could be your workout room. It could be your giant home office. Again, has the chair rail, has great windows. One trick when you're showing houses, when you get upstairs, look out the window. It gives you a great view of the roof. It'll help you see how old the roof is. Again, something you want to know. You want to look through the property condition disclosures, get an idea if the owner knows how old it is, but your eyes won't lie. So look out, you can see for yourself. So that's a great little tip when we're up here. That's one thing I like to do. The next thing I want to ask you, you've seen a lot of this house. What do you think the sales price is? What do you think property taxes are on a house like this? With the giant yard, with the 3 living rooms, with the 3 finished levels? What would it cost? We're going to reveal that in a minute. So start thinking of the price, start thinking of the taxes. And let's recap, let's look at some of the photos. So that's one thing you will notice right away about Connecticut. You tend to have a little more space in the yards. This is about a 1-acre building lot. You'll see that a lot here in Prospect. Some of the newer subdivisions, they have 2-acre minimums. The older properties will be 1 acre or a half an acre. And it's all about how the property is situated on the lot. Here you'll see there's privacy to my right, privacy to my left, privacy behind. Trees and fences make great neighbors. That's one thing you absolutely want to make sure you check out. And that's what my team and I do on a daily basis. So let us help you. If privacy is important, we can usually rule out properties just by doing a quick Google Street View or a Google Bird's Eye View. You can see how close the houses are. You can see where the neighbors are in relation to your property. Is it a shared driveway with people right in your front yard? A shared driveway with people right in your backyard? If that is a deal breaker for you, don't waste the time going to see the house. So we have different tricks we can use to make sure we're showing you the right properties. And this is a perfect example of what privacy looks like here in Connecticut. Another thing we always want to look at when we're looking at properties is decking type. So in Connecticut, you will have 2 different kinds. You will have wood, which will either be pressure treated or painted like we have here, or we'll have a composite like an Azex or a Trex. Very important to know, Azex and Trex is typically 3 to 4 times more money, but you'll never have to worry about it. A wood deck like this that's painted, you'll probably have to paint it every 5 to 10 years. So keep that in mind. The other thing we want to look at is the siding. So in Connecticut, you'll usually have an old-fashioned style, which is like aluminum. You can also have wood, which is what we have here, or you can have vinyl. Vinyl is the top of the line, besides brick, obviously. Vinyl is very, very low maintenance, but when we have wood, it's the same thing as the deck. We're gonna have to stain it, we're gonna have to paint it, and we're going to have a constant battle on our hands. Who are we battling? We're battling the boring bees, and not just the boring bees. When you have a wood house like this, and I know because I had one before, the boring bees come, they find it. They drill their perfectly straight holes into the siding, they lay their eggs, and that's not what causes all the damage. What causes all the damage are the tasty eggs, are the delicacy of the woodpecker. So then the woodpeckers come to your house and they destroy it. So keep that in mind if you are looking at properties that have wood shake shingles. There are a host of things that we're gonna need to keep up on to keep out the boring bees. We have great exterminators if you need somebody, or you're going to want to get it vinyl sided. We also have great people for that. So just keep these little things in mind. They're things that you're going to have to deal with. You also want to look at gutters. Make sure the house has gutters. Make sure the water is extended away from the property. something a lot of people don't think about until it's a little too late. Harsh winters in Connecticut, we do get ice damming. So you want to make sure that you have gutters on the property. You want to also make sure it's a good idea to have heated gutters to keep the ice from damming. So just little things like this, your Dave Jones Realty agent will point out to you as you're walking through properties. Keep in mind, just good to know. Again, at this price point, one thing I would expect is a little bit of outdoor space and some privacy. So you can see you have this expansive deck, awesome for entertaining. You're going to spend a lot of your time here during the summer and fall, and look at the privacy. It's a great place to come out, whether you're having your family parties, your birthday parties, just hanging out with your buddies and your girlfriends. This is a place that you can relax and soak in all the quiet. Another important thing to know about Connecticut is we have a lot of ledge. Ledge is rock. And depending on what you want to do with the property, are you planning on doing an addition at some point? Or do you want to add an in-ground pool? It's very important to know where that ledge is, because if you're planning to do some expansion, it might make things a little more difficult. You might have to do some blasting or some digging. The other thing that comes with ledge is often radon. Radon is a naturally occurring gas. There's radon in the air all around us right now. But when it's trapped inside your house, it is the #1 cause of lung cancer, second only to cigarettes. So it's important to know about ledge. Certain towns have higher levels. Prospect is one of those towns that has high levels of radon, mostly because of all the ledge that's here. You'll see I'm surrounded by it. It makes great natural landscape. It makes for a beautiful setting here at 77 Melissa. It builds in a natural barrier. It makes it very tranquil, but it also gives us the chance of having radon. This house does have a radon remediation system. Something else to keep in mind, if a house has a radon remediation system, you have zero shot of it having radon. So if you have a radon remediation system, you're good. So the fact that this has one, this house does not have radon. But again, it's something you should know about Connecticut is there are high levels of radon. Don't let it be a deal breaker for you. We also have great radon remediation companies that can help with that. But when you walk to a property and you see a lot of ledge, know that there's a shot it could have radon. All right, that's the whole thing. 3,500 square feet, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, finished basement, an acre of land, central air, updated kitchen, bonus room over the garage, 2-car garage. What do you think the price is? But before you get to it, before I get to it, if you're making a move to Connecticut, whether you're selling here, buying here, getting the heck out of the state, or starting your life in the state, call the team at Dave Jones Realty. We love real estate. We do this for a living. We're on pace to sell 700 houses this year. That means we know what we're doing and we're pretty good at it. We would love to make you one of our clients for life. Click the link down below, book a Zoom meet with me. I will pair you with one of our great agents and get you a house just like this. So what is the price? The price on this house is $629,900, but that's just part of it. There's another part, and we talk about this a lot. The other part, there are the taxes. So what do you think the taxes are on a house like this? The taxes for 2026, they come in at $8,700 for this 3,500 square foot, 1 acre property. Built in 1989. If it was a little newer, the taxes will be a little higher. If it was a little more out of date, the taxes would be a little lower. But that's a great middle of the road. For comparison, if you took a house at this price point and put it in the next town over in Waterbury, or another neighboring town like Wolcott, the property taxes could easily be $13,000 a year. That little thing doesn't seem like a lot when you're looking at houses. They're both $629,900. One has taxes of $13,000, one has taxes of $8,000. That could be $400, $500, $600 a month. Make sure you see the whole picture. Now, the next question you're asking yourself, how does Prospect stack up against other towns? Well, there's another town right in our same region, Beacon Falls, and I did a comparison video, Prospect versus Beacon Falls. Click right here and I'll meet you over there.